Hey, I'm Matt Manero. You're about to watch another episode of Road Grit. Today, we're going to take a little walk down memory lane to see who I get my mentorship from, and maybe you can get a few ideas. You know, I was cleaning out my garage recently, and I found two of these big Tupperware boxes, and when I opened them, it was like taking a walk down memory lane for me, because inside here are all my mentors. All the tapes that I've listened to over the years that have trained me, that have given me leadership, that have got me motivated, that have kept me excited, particularly through some of the darkest and worst times in my 20-year in business. And I just want to go through this with you here so you can get an idea of the importance of this stuff, not just in my life, but how you need a mentor in your life too. Who are you listening to? Where are you getting your motivation from? Because I'm a firm believer that if we don't get it on a very regular basis, for me it's every day I need some of this stuff, we forget about it. And we end up just living the life instead of being able to learn from others and benefit and grow to whoever we're supposed to be. So let's take a look at what I got in here. These are tapes, for the most part. Tapes that, as I talk about in my book, The Grit, page 41, chapter 6 says, borrow some grit. And you know, in my 20 years in business, there have been a lot of times where I needed to borrow some grit. But I didn't have a network of people. I didn't have friends that were going in great places. So I had to turn to my tapes. And I kept an old vehicle. I kept an old 2003 Lexus for way longer than I should have, because that Lexus had a tape player. And I was able to play my tapes in that car every morning, every lunch, every evening when I drove home. And it kept me going. It kept me motivated. So, you know, when I just go through this, I used to go to half-price books, and I'd immediately go to the clearance aisle, and I would buy whatever they had on clearance. Here's one, How to Meditate. Cost me $1. Look at this one, another one here. Terry Bradshaw's biography. It wasn't very good. I remember it. It was not very good. But then I got into some great stuff here, right? 25 Sales Strategies That Will Boost Your Sales Today by Steve Schiffman. You know, Schiffman's one of Mark Cuban's favorite authors. Schiffman wrote a book that is called Cold Calling Techniques That Really Work. It's got to be 25 or 30 years old now, and Cuban says it's one of his top 5 business books of all time, and I would say it's the same for me too. And guys, I can just go through all this stuff. The 1-Minute Salesperson. Look at these, are some of my favorites here. The Excellence Challenge by Tom Peters. I mean, the great Tom Peters. This guy was so ahead of his time in the 80s and early 90s when he was talking about the importance of communication and keeping it honest and wowing the customer and blowing the customer's minds. He was so far ahead of his time, and all of the stuff that he talked about came true. Look at this classic. The Science of Personal Achievement by Napoleon Hill. Can't tell you how many times I listened to this thing. What else I got in here? Rich Dad, Poor Dad Secrets. This guy was great. Kiyosaki. This was a game changer for me. Got me to really understand the different ways of managing money. Oh. Michael Gerber, The E-Myth. If you want to understand how systems and strategy and structure are so important in your business, man, you've got to get a copy of the E-Myth. There's a few updated versions of this now. There's E-Myth, there's E-Myth Mastery, there's E-Myth Revisited. If you're in business, you need to read or listen to the E-Myth. And then look at this one here. Low Profile Selling by Tom Hopkins, the great Tom Hopkins. Look at that. I mean, I've lost the tapes. I listen to them so much. So guys, the message for today is, hang on a minute, one of my favorites, Tony Robbins' Personal Power. This is Personal Power 2. When I got Personal Power 1 in 1991, it was a game changer for me. Completely got me to see things differently. So guys, the message for today is, listen, who are you listening to? Where are you getting your motivation from? How are you staying motivated? For me, I got to get it in the form of these tapes, because I didn't have a circle of people that I could count on. I couldn't get great advice from my mom or my dad. They didn't know how to go to the next level. The same is probably true in your world too. who are you around that you can get great information from? And if you don't have anybody in your circle, boom. Get to Half Price Books. Get to the store. Go to Barnes & Noble. Go to Borders Books. Get your hands on somebody else's information and let them be your mentor in the car or the truck for as much time as you want. That's my message for today on Road Grit. If you don't have actual physical beings, it's no problem. Just go borrow some grit. Thanks.